My worst symptom of MS is fear. Hands down, the worst. Fear of the unknown. What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my family? Will I lose my ability to work? Will I lose my ability to care for myself? Will I become a burden? Can you relate to any of these? Do you have other fears? Let me know in the comments below. This month, a review article came out in Frontiers, a research publisher, about fear in MS, specifically fear of MS progression and relapse in multiple sclerosis. In it, they pulled together research from 13 studies about the two big things, fear of relapse and fear of disease progression. They wanted to know, how common is this fear? What increases it? What helps reduce it? And how much does it affect quality of life? They found something important. Fear is incredibly common, and it seriously affects our quality of life. And it often has very little to do with how many relapses we've actually had or how severe our disease is. This is oddly comforting. It means we're not overreacting. We're humans with chronic illness. Of course, we're going to feel fear. We're living with an incurable disease. Today, I'm going to share a bit from this review, share how fear has affected me, and some of the things that help me to live well with my MS despite my fears. In the paper, they found one study that had this to say about the fear of MS progression. 18.4% of patients had low fear of progression, 61.9 moderate fear, and 19.6 dysfunctional levels of fear. This is really concerning. Nearly 20% of people with MS have dysfunctional levels of fear. It interferes with their ability to function day to day, and over 60% are living with moderate fear. Wowza, that is really stunning to me. The study also said the most commonly reported fear was reliance on external help for daily activities, with nearly 40% of participants indicating they often or very often experience this fear, followed by fear of inability to pursue hobbies and potential harm from medication. I can relate to all of these. After my first discernible relapse in 2006, they gave me high doses of IV steroids and it interfered with my sleep a lot. I remember laying there in the wee hours of the morning, wide awake, worrying about all of these. I definitely didn't want my husband or my family members to become my carers. I was thinking about all the things that I might not be able to do. The paper talked about hobbies, but I translate that into things we enjoy doing. The fear of losing the ability to do enjoyable things. And I was already living like a zombie from the side effects of the steroids. There was one night where I woke up my husband crying, saying, "There's so much I wanted to do with you." I was already thinking about how much I could lose and grieving those losses, even though they hadn't happened. And when I finally got diagnosed, the neurologist sent me home with 3 different pamphlets of medications that she thought might be a good fit for me. The pamphlets that are put out by the pharmaceutical companies, they're kind of like slick advertising campaigns. They showed people riding bikes and hiking and riding horses and painting. But all I saw was the list of potential side effects. And dang, they were scary and they were long, long lists. So, yeah, I can relate to what the study said. The review looked at the 13 studies, and the top fears were losing independence, needing more help from others, not being able to continue with hobbies or social activities, relapse leading to new disability, medication side effects, and my personal favorite, limitations due to fear itself. Yes, even our fear gets its own fear. It's like fear is out there multiplying like rabbits. But the good news is, once we understand what drives fear, it becomes a lot easier to manage it. More on that in a bit. The study also identified 5 things that are linked with high fear levels. Number one, fatigue. This one was huge. People with more fatigue reported significantly more fear, and fatigue is one of our most prevalent symptoms. Number two, negative interpretation of symptoms. Sometimes when we feel a tingle, our brain can immediately go to, oh no, this is it, or relapse. Should I go to the hospital? Do any of you respond like this? Yeah, you're not alone. This week, I got a tingle on the side of my nose that was new, and I immediately thought, oh, I wonder if this is a new MS symptom. It turns out that people who assume every new sensation means danger have more fear. Number three, low social support. Feeling alone or unsupported makes fear much louder. It makes total sense. Fear loves isolation. When we're alone, fear feels worse. Does this happen to any of you? Let me know in the comments. Number four, low self efficacy. This just means I don't feel confident that I can handle what happens. And honestly, MS can make anyone feel like that, especially early on. It can be overwhelming thinking about all the possible outcomes. Number five, being younger or female. Not because women or young people are more dramatic, but because young people are thinking more about long term futures, and women carry a lot of caregiving and emotional load. These patterns are normal, and we're not imagining them. The paper also talked about how fear affects daily life. This part blew me away. They found that fear, especially fear of relapse, was one of the strongest predictors of quality of life, even more than disease severity, number of past relapses, or the length of time we've been living with MS. And fear can lead to more anxiety, more depression, more fatigue, more pulling back socially, and hypervigilance. Is that sensation new? Is that a new symptom of MS? Fear basically acts like a bossy narrator in the background of our lives, telling us what to expect and how to feel. But here's the key part. The study also showed that fear is highly influenced by psychological skills, support, and habits, not just by the disease itself, which means we can actually do something about it, which is good news. If you've followed my channel and watched my videos, you know that I do four things in addition to my medication to help me live well with my MS: diet, exercise, sleep, and kindness in the forms of compassion and mindfulness. All of these can help us deal with the symptom of fear. Let's start with diet. A healthy whole food diet doesn't cure fear, but it can help stabilize our mood, reduce inflammation, help our energy levels, and reduce other symptoms that can trigger fear. Next is exercise. In the study, they said that fatigue was the strongest predictor of fear. Exercise, gentle, doable exercise, is one of the most effective ways to reduce fatigue. Some gentle exercises that may help are stretching, walking, yoga, and strength training. Even just 5 minutes of movement can help. Exercise helps our bodies and our brains say, hey, we got this. Next is sleep. Sleep is the unsung hero of emotional resilience. I did a video on sleep recently that I'll link above and put in the description below if you'd like to check it out. Good sleep reduces fatigue, steadies our mood, reduces catastrophic thought patterns, and helps our nervous systems to calm down. Poor sleep makes fear feel so much bigger than it is, especially at night. Do you ever have fears in the middle of the night that seem so huge, and then by the light of day, they don't seem so big? Yeah, me too. Getting good sleep is like giving our brains a warm hug or a nice cup of chamomile tea. And finally, kindness. In the conclusion of the review, they state fear of relapse and disease progression has been frequently reported among individuals with MS and may negatively influence psychological well being, contributing to higher levels of anxiety, depression, stress, fatigue, and reduced quality of life. They basically shouted from the rooftops, we need more psychological support for people with MS. Kindness is everything here. Self compassion, mindfulness, supportive community, including a therapist, and reminding ourselves we're doing our best. Practicing kindness can help soften fear. It can turn down the volume of fear. When we turn down the fear, we can say, I can handle what comes. I don't have to handle it alone, and I don't have to be perfect at this. Here's the thing. Yes, fear of MS progression and relapses is real. And yes, it affects our quality of life. But it's not something that we're powerless against. By supporting our body with diet, movement, and sleep, and supporting our mental health with kindness, we can build a life where MS fear takes up less space and it's not quite as loud. We deserve that peace. Is fear something that you struggle with while living with MS? How do you deal with it? Let me know in the comments below. I love to hear from my viewers. If this was helpful, please like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need some reassurance today. To see more on living well with MS, watch these videos next. And until next time, be well.